Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV and Holly's Hotspurs. It is that time again, people. We can officially hate each other, me and Holly now. But before we get into it, let's smash the intro. Arsenal and Tottenham community. It is certainly that time again. The fire has been stoked for the North London derby. Super Mick Arteta versus Big Ange Postecoglou. Albert JTV meets Holly's Hotspurs. Welcome to the match preview. And there you have it, people. North London derby is upon us soon. A few more days, people. Still trying to get a ticket, but it looks like it's going to happen. Still trying. I'll leave it last minute. But people, as you know, this is not the first time me and Holly have done a North London collaboration. I think this is the hat trick, the trilogy of North London derby previews, man. So smash the like button on Albert JTV and smash the like button on Holly's Hotspurs because we're going live on both channels, people. And of course, audio listeners, because Holly stepped into the 21st century, she now has her streams on audio as well, as I do. So you'll hear my South East London dulcet tones and Holly's. What part of the woods you from again, Holly?
My accent's a bit all over the gaff, so I don't really know.
I mean, you must know where you live, obviously.
Oh yeah, the P town, but you know.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I don't want to give the exact address. You could take the. Oh my God, you made this hard work that it is. But people, like I said, smash a like for my channel and obviously Holly's channel. Holly, obviously, this is the trilogy show of previews. Didn't realize that. And as I said as I said before the start of the intro, we can officially go back to hating each other because international duty is over. So I despise you, even though we did a joint collaboration. This is fantastic. How have you been, Holly?
Yeah, I've been all right, loving life under Ange, and I'm looking forward to delving into the North London side of things tonight. It should be interesting.
Are you sure? Now, Holly, I'm very well aware you have a very significant birthday coming up. Now, I didn't want to do it. I actually have. Why? Stop laughing. I haven't finished what I'm going to say yet. I have a birthday present for you. You have to listen very, very carefully.
I think I already know what it's going to be.
Well, you know what, Holly? I'm going to play it anyway for the Albert JTV side of the broadcast. Here we go. Go on, Holly. Sing it, Holly. Sing it.
I'm not singing it, man. I've told you I need hearing aids, so I can't hear it. So it's fine.
Did you hear that? Go on, Bukayo. I think Bukato's in there as well. Right, that's enough of that. All right, Holly. So I just want to give you a little bit of a tribute because your birthday's coming up and I'm not going to see you in person, but how'd you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was great. Cheers. Thanks.
Right. Without further ado, we've got two amazing guests to represent both sides of North London. So, Holly, before we bring them in, I have a bone to pick with you.
Yep.
Now, you should be. Now, I love the thumbnail. I do love it. But you do realize it's a game at the Emirates.
Yeah, but that means I have to change the picture in the background. And that means it takes longer. And plus, I wanted a bit more of Spurs on it. So,
Well, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. I think that's completely unacceptable considering we're the home team. So next time, I won't be making that mistake when we do the thumbnail for the return. Okay?
No,
you'll be on the side that you're supposed to be on. But it's fine. But anyway, because we're the home team, I'm going to introduce my first guest first. I call him the best looking man in Essex. I've even done research, stats, and he is. Can you bring in LL Cool James, please?
I can indeed.
Hey,
yes.
Come on. Thank you very much. Every time I come on this show, I get the best intro I've ever had in my life. So I will take that. Like you said, that is statistically proven. So I am a single man. So if there is female viewers, the Twitter is there. My DMs are open. So
that is an amazing plug. I don't look like Fred Sivriaks, but I'll give it a good old go.
Yeah. You're better looking than Fred, mate. You're better looking than him. You're better hosting him as well.
Jay, no, pleasure to get you on, man. Buzzing to get you on. And further ado, we obviously have another fantastic guest to come on. Holly, you might even know him very, very well, to be honest with you. But
I know him a little bit, just a slight smidgy bit.
So could you bring in the main man himself, JJ Season?
Hello, 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 hello.
Jay, welcome. Meet my man James. James, meet Jay. Thank
Hello,
you.
nice to meet you, mate.
That's about as introduction I'm going to do because of what's at stake on Sunday. So that's over. But Jay, it's an absolute pleasure to get you on. Belated happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
But that's done now. We're going to talk about more important things.
Mhm.
So welcome.
I'm
aboard.
ready. I'm ready for business. I'm ready for business.
Fantastic. This is going live on Facebook. It's going live on YouTube, and of course along the Twitter feeds of people. So if you do see us, retweet and even watch on there as well. And most importantly, Holly's name, James's channel, Jay's channel, everyone's channel is in the title, people. The title. Just click. I can't help what color it's in because it's in blue, which is not helpful, but just click on it. It'll subscribe to all the channels. So please do that, people. So let's kick it off. We'll come to chat in a bit. Oh, Holly, we'll do some housekeeping in a minute, all right? North London Derby Sunday. I'm gonna kick off with Jay actually. We'll take it back to sort of talk back to the managers. Let's start with the managers actually. So Big Ange Postecoglou, Ange Ball, whatever you want to call him. Now, I've got to be honest. I don't know what James feels, but I'm sure I'll get his opinion. It's hard not to like him, to be honest. There's some managers you can instantly despise them. I could reel off about 10, 15 managers in the last 20 years. And obviously I saw the Q&A with the fan club and taking the question from the young lad who had Down syndrome. Just done it just class. But obviously you've had a bit of time now, the appointment's been made, and you've seen the style of football in the first sort of 4 games. How are you feeling about the manager and how the team are playing?
I think the manager is a reflection of the club as a whole at the minute. It's kind of a breath of fresh air. The football is very similar to the football we played quite a few years ago. Obviously, under Conte and Nuno and Jose, we haven't seen this as exciting attacking style of football. I think it was really epitomised by the Sheffield United game. If that was Spurs under Conte, that would have been right. We'll score 1 goal, bring on 5 defenders, and see out the 1-1 draw because we were losing. Whereas, I think we ended the Sheffield United game with 1 legitimate centre back on the field. I think we had full backs playing at centre back because he was just, we're going to win this game, and that kind of attitude and the fact he's so likable, for me, it just has reinvigorated the love for the club for a lot of people. But the big thing is, and this is probably going to lead on to Sunday, is this team is fully running off vibes at the minute. Fully running off vibes. And, obviously losing in the League Cup was an issue, but it was on penalties and you had to test some players out. But I think this game on Sunday will really test our mettle and put the cat amongst the pigeons, really.
It will. Great stuff, Jay. Holly, do some housekeeping quickly because somebody has put a nice little mention in the chat.
I will do, and that's to Carl. I think Carl is like the longest serving member on the channel. So thank you very much, Carl. I really appreciate all you do for the channel. So thank you very much, boss. Hopefully we can get a win on Sunday, and then we can wind these 2 up on the panel.
Oh no, thanks, Holly. Coming to you. I know you might want to pose a question to my amazing LL Cool James.
I was going to say, James, because obviously Jay's mentioned a lot about Ange and the fact there's a lot of vibes at the minute. Does that pose, I don't want to really call it a threat, but with that kind of sense, are you feeling a little bit worried, more so than normal, to face us?
I hate to be that person, but no. I turned 32 on Monday. I haven't been worried about you guys for 32 years. I'm not going to start now. No, it's just it's just how I am. But I think he's been, he's magnificent as a person and as a manager. I think the disrespect just because he's come from Celtic is just absolutely ridiculous. Because if you look at what he actually did, Celtic were a club at the time. Yeah, they've always been a successful club. Let's get it right. But they were in a mess after Rangers had it good for a couple of seasons. He come in there, completely tore it up from the ground and built it in his own image. And I think that's what you guys have needed to do for a very, very long time. And that's what he is doing. And you're reaping the rewards of it. You are reaping the rewards of it. And I think at the weekend, it's going to be a close game, but I do actually think it's going to be a bloody good one as well, which I'm excited for, because they big up these games, and then they become absolute anti-climaxes. But this is going to be fantastic. I can't wait for it.
No, I think you're right, James. I think it's the first time in a long while that I've actually been ready for a North London derby. Obviously, I'm still very nervous, but I think, like Jay's mentioned with the vibes,
You say that again. You're nervous, did you say?
I'm always nervous for this type of game. Always nervous. I mean, it's just rivalries in general, but for once, because we've got Ange at the helm, I feel like I'm ready for it. I'm not going to say I'm confident for it because I think that's a stretch too far. But Albert, I wanted to get, obviously, before you pose a question, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it as well. I'm like mixing it up tonight. I've had my wheat mix. But I kind of want to pose this question because obviously we're talking about Ange quite a lot. And obviously you guys are under Arteta, and obviously I don't want to talk about your win last night, but you did manage to win. So obviously that puts you into good stead. I mean, we always talk about rivalries and form. Do you think having that win, I mean, it might be a stupid question, but do you think having that win maybe propels you even stronger for this game at the weekend? Or do you think it might be a hindrance because of maybe the tiredness that you may have picked up when we haven't really had a game in between, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So many questions that I don't even know where to start, Holly. First thing I will say though, Holly, when I did my watch along a few days ago, you was very quick to put a few comments in there until Leandro stuck in your basket. And you saw the clip that I put out. So, Holly, I appreciate the props and, giving Leandro the time to stick it in the back of the net. But no, listen, people have made a lot about Arsenal being back in the Champions League and, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday thing. And okay, us as fans, we're like, well, we've not had Champions League football for such a long time. So, this is fantastic. And I think what I mentioned yesterday in my short and for the fan cam, that the grumbles that Arsenal fans have had a little bit in terms of the football in the first 4 games of the Premier League has not been really comparable to how we started last season. However, last night was a snippet of what we kind of hope we want to see in the Premier League, a bit more free flowing, a bit more on the front foot. We get the goal in 6 minutes. Saka's now playing Champions League football. I will touch on that actually, because it's been spoken about a lot about world class and not playing Champions League football. He started off all right so far, but I think in regards to the game on Sunday, and if it's got any correlation in terms of yesterday, I think what did help is there were no injuries yesterday. Martinelli, there's talk he may be ready, might not be ready, but I think the fact that we was able to, and James might agree, that the fact that he's able to bring off and make quite a few subs to save legs for Sunday was key. And the amount of sports science and the way these guys recuperate and recover. Listen, it's not just about recovery. This is North London derby we're talking about. We've got a very, very, very good record at home at the Emirates. I think it's been 13 years since you've won there. Yunus Kabul days and Rafael van der Vaart. That's a long time ago. So I said to people a few weeks ago that the way Spurs have started, this is not the Spurs I saw under Conte and Mourinho. It's very different. I think it's Paul Merson and I can't remember the other guy spoke about the game today. It might be Neville actually talking about how Tottenham are going to approach this. But I'm confident, but I'm very aware that this is not the same Spurs side that we've played in recent years when they come to the Emirates. So it's going to be intriguing. But am I nervous as a whole? I'm all right. I'm at a happy medium, my dear Holly. I am.
Fair enough. Whereas I'm a nervous wreck, as per usual. But Albert, I'll let you fire away with another question.
Yeah, Jay, sort of coming back to you really, in terms of Postecoglou, in terms of your fan base. I mean, I've been on a couple. I've said this before. I don't know if you've probably heard me say it, but I'll get on with one of your Tottenham fans in terms of being on their platform and being on their show. And I saw it for the first time properly in terms of your general consensus of your fan base, man, where they should be. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I've seen it now. But where are the fans where do you see it as the fans as a collective, including yourself and Holly? Where the fans are, the Tottenham fans, in terms of the realism going forward this season, what you can achieve?
I think it's very difficult because this was supposed to be a rebuild, and rebuilds aren't supposed to start this well. So at the minute, the fans are we're kind of riding on a high. I think the next 2 games for us, in my opinion, decide what sort of team we are, because we've not played anyone good yet. Man United do not count as a good team to play at the minute. So we've not played anyone good. And to have you guys, then Liverpool the week after, I think will really make and break our season to show us where we are. And I think that's why Spurs fans as a whole are excited by this North London derby, because I don't think we'll go out of a whimper at all like we have done in previous years at your gaff. But I think the nervousness for Spurs fans is if we come out of these 2 games with 0 points, the reality of what the season could be for us is Conference League, Europa League, because City are going to tie up that top spot. If we get outclassed by you guys and outclassed by Liverpool, that's only 1 spot available, and that could be up for anyone for grabs. But yeah, we're riding off vibes at the minute. I've said it, and it's the best analogy. Until we lose, we won't know, I don't think. And if we carry on winning, then brilliant. But until we lose, we won't know.
Great stuff, Jay. Before I'm going to come back to you, and I'm actually going to get Holly's opinion as well. I'm going to come to Holly first quickly before I come back to you, Jay. Before Holly asks James another question. But in terms of your transfers, the guys that have come in, obviously Mickey van der Ven and a couple others, how have they bedded in? And have you been impressed with what you've seen, or what's the pros and cons you've seen, Holly, coming to you?
Really well. I think Mickey van der Ven is a highlight of that, in the sense that he literally played the first league game and was like he's been there forever. And we've needed a player like Mickey van der Ven with his pace, with his aerial ability for a very long time. So he's embedded himself really well. Maddison, I don't even know what words to describe Maddison. He's just amazing. And he's really elevated our midfield. And even with the guys that haven't come in, the likes of Basuma, he's like a brand new player as well, just because of the way that he's been transformed just with Ange coming in. He's a totally different guy. And it's like Jay says, I know we keep saying it, vibes is that go-to word tonight, but it is. He's feeding off of that, and he is truly a different player. You've got the likes of Vicario as well that's come into goal, having to fill the big boots of Hugo Lloris, that's obviously in recent years declined. I know he's your favourite person, Albert. Again, he's just really, the players that we've signed have actually come into this team and made a difference. Whereas beforehand, we'd see players come in on huge wage brackets for the likes of the Ndombele, not really doing anything. So I feel like we're in a good place. I feel like we're actually heading somewhere this time. Just see if January we can get that, potentially that last centre back that Ange wanted, because that was the last thing on his shopping list, and obviously we didn't manage to bring that in. But all in all, I think the players we have brought in have embedded themselves really well.
Good stuff. And I just want to get your quick opinion, Jay, in terms of the recruits that have come in so far, what you still may need.
Obviously, another centre back is what we still need. As for recruits, just echoing what Holly said, it seems like everyone's come in and fit the system. And listening to the fan forum the other day, it seems like these players that have come in have been Ange's decision, and Ange has probably already pre-decided who he wants to come in. And I think you're seeing that just by the way the team have been so cohesive, and there hasn't been a lot of bedding in at all. But yeah, as for what we still need, I still think we need a prolific striker. Do I think Richarlison can be that man? I genuinely do. I do believe he can be that player, but he's just not that at the minute. And we need another centre back just in case Van der Ven or Romero get injured.
There you go. Sorry, I was trying to speak there. I'm putting myself on mute. What an amateur mistake to make, people. Audio listeners, you wouldn't have heard a peep what was going on because I just put myself on mute. But Holly, come in with your question for Jay.
So, James, obviously we've spoken about a few players that we've brought in and how our midfield is totally transformed. For you in that midfield, do you think for Tottenham and the way that Ange kind of plays, is that something that you think might be the way Arteta might change the way he plays, or do you think you're going to play your game and we're going to play our game?
Yeah, I agree with what you said in the latter. I think you're going to play exactly. You're going to play your game. We're going to play ours, and it's cliche to say, but it's going to be one of those. Who's going to be the better one on the day? I think, and Albert, you can disagree with me. I've just done a preview on with Amanda and everybody else on their channel, and I said to them with chest, I might add, that there is only one position that's up for debate for me at the weekend, and that is that left 8. I think everyone else, you've got to pick the same as what you've picked the last 2 games. Too many people are sentimental over certain players. Yes. Do I like Aaron Ramsdale? Of course I do. However, David Raya, 2 clean sheets in 2 games. Why are you dropping him? I'm not dropping him for this game. He's starting for me. The back 4 picks itself, and then obviously Jesus, after scoring a goal like that, you can't tell him he ain't playing. Especially in the derby as well. He's going to be. As much as Eddie wants to be up for this and playing in this, Gabby's got to play that one. And then, yeah, it's just a case of if it's going to be Havertz or Vieira for me, and we'll see what happens on the day, because both, you got the pros and cons with both. I think the way you guys played, especially against Manchester United, I mean, they are bobbins, like you said, JJ. I'll take that into account. They are terrible. And I like that you say that. People need to hear that more. They need to be reminded they are terrible.
Absolutely.
You completely just ran straight through them. Now, you've got such good quality. I mean, I don't know if it's Udogi or Udogi. Everyone changes it per commentator. It depends on who it is. I think this guy's sensational when I've watched him. I'm like, what a great player. I'm not, and I know he was on loan last season. I'm like, cool, how did you let him stay on loan? He's class. He's class. He's absolutely class. He worries me a bit. He's got something about him, but you're not going to run through us like you run through Manchester United.
Not
because I'm sorry, but Declan Rice is just slowly going about things, and he's not going to allow. He's not going to allow you to do it. So it's what can you guys implement that's slightly different? Because, and Albert, I do agree with you. Yeah, we haven't been as free flowing and scoring as we were at the start of last season. But what I will say, Albert, is, and I don't know if you agree or not, our control of games is much better. The way we're seeing games out, if you look at the Palace one, after Tomiyasu got sent off,
he's brilliant.
19 crosses into the box. And we defended that years and years ago. If that was 5 crosses, one of them are going in.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say, James, actually coming back to you quickly, because obviously there's a lot of chat in, obviously I don't see a lot of Arsenal fan stuff apart from Albert mainly. But there's a lot of debate about why do you have 2 class goalkeepers?
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know why you'd complain. Surely that's a good thing to have.
Holly, I'm so glad you said that. It goes to the lazy journalism that exists in this country, because there's a lot of Arsenal fans that say it's only for them, but it's for everybody. I do not understand how a club having 2 good players in any position is seen as anything but a negative. Because I look at Real Madrid and they've got Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Kroos and Modric, but nobody goes, oh, that's too many. And someone's going to be upset if one of them doesn't play. You never hear it. You never hear it. And why is it a problem to have 2 good goalkeepers? You know, years and years ago, you used to get managers go, well, I've signed him because he can't hurt me. We've arguably signed the best goalkeeper outside of the top 6, and it's being seen as a negative. To me, that's mental. If I could use that word.
Wild.
Sorry to interject. The only thing I see there from an Arsenal perspective is, in my opinion, is going back to what I said about vibes. Ramsdale has worked his arse off to get Arsenal into the Champions League. He was a standout player for you guys last year. Arsenal have brought in a goalkeeper on a similar level to him. And after 2 games, it looks like, I agree with James. Raya does look steadier, but has Ramsdale got the character to be able to deal with that and to sit on those bench for the Champions League games that he's helped the club get to that position? That's the thing. It's the unrest in the dressing room from that aspect. I know if I was in Ramsdale's position, I'd be like, I've not even had a chance in the Champions League, and I helped us get there. But that's the only problem I see maybe coming up.
It's interesting. I'm glad, Holly. I'm so. That's why we work so well together. And we support both bloody different teams. No, because I don't know if I should have sent it to all of you before we went live. I saw the debate between Schmeichel and Jamie Carragher on CBS about the goal.
I hated it, Albert. Having to sit there and agree with Jamie Carragher, I felt ill. Made me feel ill.
Yeah, I don't know all the goalkeepers like Shay Given, Peter Schmeichel. There's a few other goalkeepers. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sorry, but it's like, James, like you say, like, it's about having healthy competition. And I was asked a question about the goalkeeping situation. And I thought, oh, they're going for David Raya. But even from a statistical point of view, from the acid test of your own 2 eyes, and I mentioned this yesterday I think it's in my short, maybe my fan cam, I can't bloody remember, but David Raya's long passing and passes, he was ranked, I think, number 1 in the league for last season with goalkeepers. And you can see why the long passing is excellent, James. I don't know if it's a couple passes he hit in the game. Yes, I said, oh my God, man, why is Baresi playing in goal? This is crazy. But no, he's the thing with the David Raya links is, and I'll tell you what Jay's saying in terms of his stuff on Ramsdale. The guy only signed a contract extension a few months ago. But the interest has been there for quite a long time with David Raya, and that goes with the goalkeeping coach at Arsenal when he bought him from, I think, from Blackburn to Brentford, and then there's been a relationship there. And David Raya didn't come to Arsenal to sit on the bench. And
Albert, these two probably didn't see it, so I'm sorry to exclude you here.
Yeah.
When he signed, and the whole presentation with his 93-year-old granddad and everything else.
Yeah.
Was that a presentation of someone that's second choice?
No way.
There you go. I knew from then. I was like, this is like the Leno situation. The sentiment is going out the window. Because
I don't get what he's done. I don't get what Ramsdale's done for this to happen. I don't
think it's a case of what he's done. It's just this guy is a better goalkeeper than him, and I've bought a better goalie and I'm going to play him.
Yeah, I think it is as simple. Like I said, I watched that debate yesterday. James, you saw it with the Henry and Carragher.
Why was Rob Green even? Rob Green just was staring at the screen. I was like, what are you contributing other than just? He was just sat there like, I agree with Peter Schmeichel. It's like, great input, Rob. Well played, mate.
Yeah, like I get it. The goalkeeper unit ticking together, but I'm like, I don't get the furore around this. To me, this is nuts.
It's a different position, though. It's a different position.
No,
it's totally different.
I get that, but it comes down to the same sentiment again. You need healthy competition, and the fact is, look, Mikel Arteta looked at him and thought, okay, Matt Turner was an okay backup, but he wasn't. Even if you speak to a lot of Arsenal fans in our community, which probably won't do anyway, but a lot of them wanted another goalkeeper. They weren't content with Matt Turner. Obviously, he's moved on to Nottingham Forest now. But when Raya come in, I thought, you know what? He's a good goalkeeper first and foremost. And I'm not surprised this has happened. Maybe it's happened a bit quicker in the early part of the season. But listen, football can be ruthless, man. It's not kind, unfortunately, and it does happen. It just happens to be Arsenal gets spoken about a little bit more about some of the most normal things in football that happen, which is it just happens.
But sorry to keep this point going, but it's not normal in football. Name another club in the world that's got two of the best goalkeepers in the world in that league in the same team.
Yeah, but you say that, Jay. But we had a similar situation at Arsenal. James will definitely back me up with this in terms of when we had Bern, Leno, and Martinez, right? Two very, very good goalkeepers that were both number ones, right? But one of them had to, obviously, Emi Martinez ended up going. The same thing with Ramsdale coming to Arsenal. He didn't have the number 1 shirt when he first come. He got into the team. Bern, Leno, gone. He's at Fulham now. It happens. Like, it's only within the Arsenal fan base. I don't think it's that bad from some of the group chats that I'm in and the general consensus. I just think it's some of the ex-pros that are turning this into something bigger than it is. Who happen to be goalkeepers, for example. It happens, but listen, we've got 2 quality goalkeepers. It's tough on Ramsdale, but listen, you said the life of football would be easy.
But Albert, people get defensive. They get defensive over the game because it's changing, and they don't like the change.
Yes,
and I think obviously, I believe that this is going to lead in Ramsdale leaving. Personally,
yeah, I think so.
And I don't begrudge him wanting to be a number 1 somewhere, especially with the Euros coming up, where he, as much as I dislike Pickford at Everton, for me, he hasn't really put a foot wrong for England. Yeah. So, but I can believe Ramsdale thinking I can pip him to that shirt for Germany.
Yeah,
but he's not going to pip him to that shirt being sat on the bench or only playing cup matches.
And it's mad because his last game was playing for England against Scotland.
Exactly.
So it's crazy, but Yes, yeah. This has been an interesting debate about the goalkeeper. I don't think it
My
take
bad.
this long.
I was part of the union for my entire to the age of 18, so I'm going to be defensive over goalkeepers. It's bound to
I
happen.
know you will, Jay. That's why I'm glad Holly brought it up. So I wanted to get your opinion. But before I come, I was going to come to James about I will come to you actually quickly. People in the chat, thank you for your comments in the chat. Smash a like on my channel and Holly Agambar's channel as well, or Holly's Hotspurs to be a bit more precise, people. But yeah, Jason, coming back to you. So I know Holly's gonna have a question for the amazing Jay. With Arsenal so far, I think you've even touched on it. I know people talk about the football we played last season and what they see this season, but we all know it's quite clear that Mikel Arteta is going to be quite big in terms of Arsenal retaining possession a lot more. Hence the reason why you're probably seeing the football that you're seeing. Also on top of that, just to ask you briefly about yesterday in terms of Kai Havertz. I thought him playing in that almost false nine position. I said this before. I was on Everton Rose's channel, and I said, and we're talking about where we're going to sort of play him. And I said it's not just about the first 4 games of the season, but I could see I'm not saying it would start as a false nine or playing a bit more centrally, depending on the personnel or the side and the makeup of the first 11. But I personally think that's probably where he might end up. But yeah, so what have you made of sort of Arsenal's tactics this season in terms of how we ball progress the ball?
Yeah, again, it goes back to what I said earlier in that I think it's more controlled, Albert.
Yeah, that's it.
And you know, I think that if you analyse it, we really, really huffed and puffed for about 30 weeks of last season. We were the best, and then we just blew up.
Capitulation,
and the depth wasn't there. Yeah, you got exactly. Yeah, you were loving it.
Yeah, Holly, I know you're a co-host, so I will boot you out the chat. No, I won't do that. Really, I'm joking.
Yeah, of course, they love the capitulation. Yeah, of course, and rightfully so. That's part of the game.
Yeah,
but for me, I don't mind that we're taking a more sort of conservative approach because we're still getting the result. Let's not forget, like Spurs, still haven't lost a game this season, Albert. Yet some people are going on. Some people are going on like we're absolutely, we're a terrible, terrible side. The game that we drew and dropped the points in against Fulham, we should have won it.
Furious, yeah.
We should have won it. We had enough chances there to win it. So it just didn't go right on the day, which can happen. But yeah, I don't think there's anything overly concerning. Havertz, for me, I thought that was his best game in an Arsenal shirt so far last night.
100 million%.
He was running forward, Albert. He wanted to get involved. I've been screaming, as someone who is 6'2", but when he puts his shoes on, he can be 6'3". Use your body more.
Yeah,
you're a 6'4" man, and you don't want to get in the box and rough some people up. He was bought to be a box smasher. Well, actually smash into some people then. Like seriously. But he's not. It baffles me. It baffles me, Albert. But yeah, he will want to prove himself at the weekend. And if you remember, if we want to go back in the old time machine, we used to have a big German that scored a goal, his first goal in a derby as well, Albert. So you never know, he might get one. I mean, if he needs to adhere himself to the Arsenal fans, you're not going to endear yourself any more than scoring a goal against this lot at the weekend, are you?
Holly,
not he will.
Yeah. But... Holly, if you believe in scripts, it could possibly happen. But I don't
believe in that one, man.
007. I've seen Dr. Tottenham's there to help him out, man, so he doesn't go 007.
Holly, come in, Holly, go on.
I was going to say, I've had enough of listening to how good Arsenal are. I want to come to you, Jay, and ask you a question. Because obviously, as we know at the moment with Spurs, we've got Richarlison up front. They did manage to obviously get his goal at the weekend. And we do also have the idea of playing Sonny through the middle. Now, with this big game, who are you thinking that Ange's going to play in that central role?
Who do I think he'll play and who do I want to play are two different things. I think he'll play Sonny just because he's experienced the game. I think Richarlison could get eaten up in that kind of environment with obviously, the mental health struggles he's talking about at the minute. Throwing him in to a game like this with that amount of pressure may not bring the best performance out of him. However, I would like to see Richarlison start up front. I really would. I think the absolute opposite. I think, if he was to get a goal, it could catapult the rest of his season. And obviously, like you guys were saying about with Havertz, it would be the same for Spurs fans and Richarlison. I think it could spearhead his rise within the club. But I do think that, Son has torn Arsenal to shreds once or twice previously. I know Rob Holding's not at the club anymore, so you're a little bit safer. But I think that's what Ange will go with.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that's with all of us Spurs fans. We always want the best for Richarlison, and him getting that goal last weekend, and it meant something. Obviously, it got us that equaliser, and then he managed to get the assist to score at the Emirates. Would, like you say, absolutely propel him. I mean,
say that again, Holly.
Propel him.
Okay.
I'm going to come to you, Albert, before I mix up my words. Go for it.
No, yeah, I just got the two when Jay was talking with that. Those are the two last Premier League lineups for Arsenal and Spurs. I'm going to come to James actually. What if there are any changes? What do you think there'll be for that game? I'm going to get back up on the screen.
The only, like I said earlier, Albert, the only one is if are we going to play Fabio Vieira or are we going to play Havertz? I think because he's a £65 million fee, he's probably going to pay Havertz. But I would rather he play Vieira.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Albert? Would you rather Vieira?
It's an interesting question. No, it's an interesting one because I thought when we played Everton, I thought Havertz would start because I just thought the physicality in terms of going to Goodison and our record so horrendous that we had one since 2017. Now Havertz is playing the week. He played yesterday. And I'm pleased with Vieira. I don't know how you feel, James. Maybe he's had a season in the Premier League. I feel a bit more assured and a bit more confident with him in the team. And when he gets the ball, what he's going to do with it is going to be a positive outcome. There's a difference there. And maybe it's just about confidence because technically we know he's good on the ball and technical ability. But I think now with obviously Havertz playing in the Champions League game, I think it's 50-50 you could start, mate. But I do lean more towards the fact that I think Havertz will start, personally. The only concern we've got really is whether Martinelli will play. I don't
think he will, even if he's. I think he'll be on the bench if he's fit, just from the point of view of, like you said earlier, Trossard's got the goals, man. He scored. He's got 2 goals these last 2. You can't take him out. He's on form.
And that's the thing, because it's a hamstring injury, like, well, what's the severity of it? But if Mikel Arteta has come out and said he wasn't going to play yesterday, and he might be ready for Sunday, I think it might come a little bit too soon. But again, I don't know, I'm not an expert. It depends how the severity of the injury, how it was. But Holly, coming to you quickly before you pose another question to anyone, to be honest with you, whoever you're going to target. Looking at those lineups, I want to get your quick thoughts, actually. I know we've spoken about him before in terms of the Arsenal point of view with Saka, because I'm in a couple of group chats, right? James, I'll tell you, some of the stuff they say about this guy, I don't know what's going on, man, but I get it because it's probably rival fans. I think he's been okay to start the season, and it happened last season, to be honest, where he gets doubled up, tripled up on quite a lot, but he still impacts the game. Obviously, you're a rival fan, but what's your thoughts and feelings about Saka? I'll give you a bit of context, actually, because some fans in the group chat I'm in were saying that Saka doesn't wow them. And I'm like, okay, even if I take my Arsenal hat on, what do you mean? Because he's been England player 2 years in a row. I think he's been Arsenal player of the year probably 3 out of 4, James, 4 out of 5 years. He got young player of the year for last season. He's a big game player. He scored against Tottenham, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and United. He's played in a World Cup quarter-final where he absolutely destroyed the left-back for France, for Hernandez. He played in the semi-final against Denmark in the Euros where he was fantastic. So I'm a little bit confused how he doesn't wow certain footballing fans, but maybe you can tell me something that I don't know.
I'm going to put my England top on and say that I really like Saka. That's how I'm going to play it. To be honest with you, like you say, he's doubled up, he's tripled up. Like, he is a threat out there on that. And it's like, if we can, I think someone said it in the chat, if we can stop him, we've got a good chance in being able to do something in this game. I know you've got the likes of loads of other players that you've mentioned,
Of
but
course.
I really like Saka, and it is very frustrating that when I haven't got my England top on, that I can't really say anything bad towards him, if that
Doesn't
makes sense.
stop you with the women, Arsenal, does it, Holly?
Yeah,
Supporting
but that's
Arsenal
because
women.
everybody I like now plays there. So how am I supposed to win apart from Beth England? It's like, but
This
no,
is beautiful for me and James to hear. God, keep debating, arguing. It's
I'm
fine.
gonna have to change like my channel from Ollie's Hotspurs to something else at this rate with you lot. But no, I think it is warranted to say that. I mean, he's like you say, he's got the stats. He scores goals in important games. He's got the stats to back it up. I just think, like I said, if we can manage to stop him, and I think someone said it as well, if we can see the Saka versus a doggy,
Yeah, it's
however
gonna
you
be
want
a
to
good battle.
say it,
Yeah.
it's going to be very interesting.
No, well said. Well said. Jay, coming to you. I don't. Was I over talking your question? Sorry, you
No,
come
you
in.
can fire away, my friend. Go for it. I'll let you
Far
go.
away. Jay, coming to you quickly. Obviously, this is not our coming to Emirates is not a ground that is a popular destination for you guys. Like I said, it's been a number of years. How are you feeling going into Sunday, taking into account your record at the Emirates and also how you started this season? What's your gut feeling telling you? What's your head and your heart telling you?
Head and heart tells me 2-0 down at half time, 2-2 Richarlison winner in the 96th. That's what my
That's it.
heart's telling me.
That's it. Cut, Jay. That's it. Forget it. No, no, joking. Go on, mate. Go on.
But my head's telling me anything from a draw, I'll be happy with, to be perfectly honest. And I think that would be realistic. I think it would be a good result. I think it would be, for us as a club, going back to what I said earlier, I think it would be a good marker to go, yes, we can go to one of our biggest bogey grounds and get a point and compete with a team who competed for the league last year and will probably be up there again this year, and we can take a point off them. And that's another. This is the thing, and this is what I said about, and obviously I know you guys played United as well. This is the thing about playing United so early on, is the United are really bad to play later on in the year when they heat up. And the thing is getting these fixtures, and this is why the North London Derby being this weekend, if we come out of a draw, that's the North London Derby at the Emirates ticked off for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
For the rest of the season. And then, we're not getting towards the end of the season and having to worry about going to the Emirates to pick up a result to maybe get Champions League football. We're not going to have to worry about that. So for me, anything from a draw and above, I'd be happy with. If we lose, as long as we don't go out of a whimper like I feel like we have in the last couple of years. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, where it was like we might as well have just not turned up. I think it was something stupid, but I just, for me, we've got to go there and show who we are. And I think if we put in a performance, I think the fans would be able to accept a loss. But I mean, looking at your running, I think this game's bigger for you than it is for us, because us, Bournemouth, Man City, Chelsea, Sheffield United, Newcastle, your next Premier League games, that's a big run. That's a big run. So I think it's important for both teams. I really do.
Good stuff. Before I come to my amazing co-host quickly, I'm going to sort of come back to you, Jay, and come to Holly. Would it be fair to say, that's what I was remembering, I think, I'm sure it was between Merson and Gary Neville, I'm sure it was, but I think Merson was saying sort of give it to about January to kind of see where Spurs are, how far they've come with Ange. I think that's a better gauge, really. And do you think going into that game on Sunday, you'll play the same as you have done in the first four, or do you expect Ange to tweak it a little bit from what you've seen?
I expect us to go balls to the wall exactly how we have in the other games. I really do expect it to play into our hands more because you're the home team. So if you guys sit back against us and don't, and because you know how we're going to play, if you were to press super high and we played a few passes, we'd be in. So maybe it might be in Arteta's head to play a bit more negatively against us because he's seen that we struggle against a low block. But I think if we play the way we play and you counter that, and we go half an hour without an Arsenal goal, or a big attack from Arsenal because we're defending in your half like we have been against a lot of teams this year, I could see the fans turning, I could see the atmosphere turning. So I really don't think we've got anything to lose by playing the way we've been playing. I really don't.
No, fair play, James. Very, very noble of you that answer. That was just very, very impressive. But so Holly, coming to you, Holly, far away.
I was going to say, so obviously, James, we've got the Spurs perspective of things, and I know that you've spoken about the way you're going to approach this game, but for you, how do you kind of see it panning out? I know you said you're quietly confident in that kind of respects, but after what Jay said, are you quaking in your boots, so to speak?
I'm sorry, no. In the politest possible way. I think that you guys have got you're very front foot, and like I said earlier about us and control. I think that you will, like you said as well, your word of vibes. I think you might get overly carried away and you will leave gaps. And this is why I would rather Vieira than Havertz. I think Vieira, for me, is so good at finding space, especially this season. We've seen it from pre-season, haven't we? He's gone up a level, Vieira, for me this year, Albert. He really has. And I think that with the likes of a Trossard, a Saka and a Jesus, and even Odegaard as well. I mean, Odegaard at the moment is getting so good at striking a ball from a midfielder's perspective, the way he's hitting these shots. And he said last night his first touch was terrible, so I had to set myself. And he went, "Yeah, that was lucky, weren't it?" I'm like, if that's lucky, but I'd love to be lucky like that when I play.
Exactly.
And but yeah, I think it will be a really, really good game. But we're just going to edge it out. I think we'll edge out a win. Ange's record in the Old Firm was fantastic, and he only lost them by I think he lost 1-2-1, and he lost another 1-1-0. So it's not like I don't think there's a lot that I've seen where, especially Arsenal fans, thinking you're going to get an absolute hiding. I can't see that. I can't see that. I think.
Yeah, I think someone said 5-1. Someone said 5-1 earlier. I don't know.
With Basuma and Sarr and that in there as well. I like I've mentioned about Arsenal being able to control it. You can control and set a tempo if you want, but I think you will. Yeah, I think you will get overexcited, and that will leave the gaps, and we will punish you for it. I'm afraid.
No, I think, like you said, I don't think it's going to be an absolute whooping. Like you said, I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think that's what makes it so much more exciting now. We can go into these games and, like I say, be ready for it. I'm not saying confident, but you can actually be ready for these games when they come around. But no, Albert, I'll come to you.
No, I think we've more or less covered every single aspect we could possibly do. Arsenal, please give Holly an amazing birthday present by smashing Spurs.
I'll be such a misery, man, if that happens. I will be.
Holly, I know deep down, maybe Jay's helped you out sending, got a couple of tweets in draft ready to send me, or a couple of voice notes that you want to do like you normally do. But no, it's like I said, I said it a few weeks ago. I said this can be a very, very different North London derby, even though we've got an amazing home record. Captain Odegaard at the moment, I have to call it. I don't even call him Martin anymore. Forget Martin. Captain Odegaard, still key. What I like about Martin Odegaard, quickly, James, as well, is, and it's the most simple analysis I can probably give about him. Right, beautiful technical ability. Great passer, sees the pass ahead of even before he probably even thinks about doing it. Have more shots at goal. I don't care if your teammates give you a rollicking. He gets himself into fantastic positions, which is what he's doing now. And it's no coincidence he got the goals return he got last season, and I expect him to do the same again this season. Great strike yesterday, but no, it's going to be a tight game. Actually, be interesting to see how Tottenham approach it. I think that's what it comes down to me. I kind of think I know how Arsenal will kind of go about this, not just because it's North London derby, but you're at home, you're in the front foot, you've got a good record, man. Got Declan Jollof Rice commanding in the middle of the pitch, man. But I think Arsenal will concede because we can't stop conceding goals at home. I don't know what it is, but I reckon Arsenal 2-1 person. I'm gonna go around everybody. Gonna come to JJ Seasons. What's your score prediction, mate?
What I actually think, not what my heart wants. My actual brain is I see a 2-2 draw.
Oh, Desmond.
I see Arsenal 2-0 up at half time and us getting 2 back towards the end is what I see. I see a 2-2 draw. I'd like to predict a win, but I just don't want to be clipped and put on social media if I do. So I'm going to go with a draw.
Jay, that was a tremendous answer. That's exactly the kind of answer I was expecting. Gonna come to my main man, LL Cool James, man. Score prediction, my friend.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I wish I could be different, Albert, but I do. I think it's going to be it's not going to be a 2-1 where it's not going to be a smash and grabby type one, but it's going to be a very, very tough game. But we will see it out. We will see it out. It's the experience. You're still going through the transition. We've gone through it, and we're just that little bit, like I said, we're just that little bit better at controlling certain situations than you guys are, and I think that will just get us over the line. But I think you guys are still going to have a tremendous season. I know you said about top 6. I think you can easily get that top 4 now, and if he does that in his first year, back him even further because that's a fantastic. No one. I don't know if you guys thought that you'd finish top 4 when you predicted your start of the season, but certainly from the people I watched, didn't have you in the top 4.
No, well said. And obviously, last but not least, my amazing co-host. Again, we've collabed again. Holly, now I know I can tell the trepidation by your face, even if I can only see you virtually. But what's your score prediction for Sunday, Holly?
Oh man, well I can't say we're gonna lose, so I'm not gonna say that.
No,
I don't want to say you're gonna win, so I'm gonna do boring, and I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw because I thought I can't go with a 2-2. I'm gonna go with a 1-1. I think, but I think you are gonna score first, and kind of like what Jay says, I think we're gonna score and equalise later on.
And there you have it, Arsenal and Tottenham community. The voices are spoken. I want to big up to all the people that are in the chat box that watch this night live now on Facebook and on YouTube and all other media platforms as well. And of course, audio listeners on the beautiful Spotify and the beautiful Apple downloads. You'll hear everybody's dulcet tones for the next couple of days whenever you choose to listen to the audio before the big game on Sunday afternoon. Still trying to get a ticket, but we'll see if that doesn't happen. But never mind. It might happen last minute. We'll see. There might be somebody in the gods, man. But if I don't get to go,
bit louder, Albert. Say it again a bit louder.
Yeah, get me a ticket. Coming up about Albert.
That's it. Good man.
But no, listen. Now, big up to our amazing panel. I'm gonna come. Like I said before at the start of the stream, everybody's channel link is in the title. So don't just think about it. Go and do it, people. Subscribe to everybody that's on the panel. But JJ Seasons, thank you. It's a long time since I've seen you, mate. You age like fine wine, mate. So tell the people where
you saw the Instagram post. Yeah.
Where can the people find you, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter at JJ Season, and FIFA drops in 4 hours. So you can find me at midnight all weekend long because Holly's leaving me on her birthday, so I can sit in game, which is brilliant. But yeah, so I'll be live on Twitch for most of the weekend, and that's normally where you can find me, or you can find me on these brilliant podcasts. And shout out to Albert and Holly for hosting a brilliant North London Derby podcast as always. It's always good to have opinions and people on this podcast that are not deluded and have reasoned thoughts, which is always good.
Good start. Jay's Holly is coming back, right? It's only her birthday that you should, Yeah.
I don't know. I'm changing the locks while she's gone.
That's right. That is true love. That is absolutely it. Trust me. I have no idea what that is anymore. We'll have that conversation away from YouTube. Trust me. And big up to my Arsenal main man. That's the best man in the whole of the Essex County. LL Cool James. Tell the people where they can find you, my friend.
Yeah, it's all there, isn't it? Just LL Cool James 91, and then there's the James Johnston Football Channel. And like you said, if you're within 15 km of the Chelmsford, Essex area, you will find me on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, and Badoo. So, by all means, like I said, I'm there. You know.
James, that is fantastic actually, because I thought to myself, you know what? When I started YouTube,
I'm not going more than 15 kms, mate.
No, that's too far. That's
Yeah.
that's too
Don't
much.
care how special you are, it's not happening.
Love has boundaries. Love has boundaries.
Exactly. And I will take the compliment of not being deluded as well. I love that. Thank you very
Well,
very
no,
much.
it's just you get a lot of podcasts, a lot of people that just come on to talk rubbish, whereas it's nice to actually talk about football rivalry aside,
Exactly.
No, I appreciate it. No, thank you.
Fantastic. And of course, last but not least, we have collabed a million times already, domestically, internationally. Holly, I'm still working on sponsorship to get us to the next Women's World Cup, European Championships, men's, whatever we could do, man. But Holly, my amazing, fantastic co-host and YouTube Tottenham wife, a fantastic preview to you again. Where can the people find you?
Thank you, Albert. Yeah, you can just find me at Holly's Hotspurs, basically. And I always say this. You always say we collab together, but you do most of the groundwork because I am so unorganised. So thank you again, Albert, for having me and organising my podcast life.
Holly, we are a team, Holly. I will not. I'll take the compliment, but I'm not having that. You're not letting you throw yourself under the bus like that. No, we work well together. So it's a pleasure to collab with you as always. Like I said, I love you, but I hate you as well. In a nice way. All right, don't say it that quickly. All right, Ollie. But of course, people, your other co-host, Albert JTV, you'll find me here, there, and everywhere. Radio, YouTube, maybe on a few other things, TV wise. But no, listen, what am I doing next? Watch along, maybe going to the game. I'm not sure yet. But
you're going, mate. You're getting a ticket. Come on, confidence. Like this lot vibes. You're getting a ticket. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm realistic though, James, man. Like, it's no, we'll see. There's still time. But like I said, people, smash a like for mine and Holly's channel, and if I can find the outro, that would be quite helpful.
Are we saying come on, you Spurs? Is that how?
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're absolutely not saying that. We're absolutely not saying that. You must be having a laugh. But people, we are over and out for Albert JTV and Holly's Hotspurs. Yeah, we are over and out, people. Oh, what's going on now?
Push the wrong button.
Oh, not push the wrong button. Oh no. Right, we are over and out. Definitely this time. Holly, I haven't got an outro. Well, I've got one, but it's Arsenal. But tough. You have to do it anyway. We'll see you soon. How are you guys?